Welcome, hello, it is that time. It is wonderful to have you with us. Hello, everybody. Mahala Monday. My name is Dugald. As always, it is big, it is exciting, and the only thing bigger and exciting than anything else is Rhoda. She's here.
Thank you, Dugald. You always have such a lovely intro, but you know, it's always great being here on a Monday because I look forward to chatting to Dugald. So welcome, everybody, and remember, it's interactive show. Comment, send in your messages, and you know what, everybody out there, you always, like I'm always telling you guys, welcome with your cup of coffee, your tea, your plate of food, and your glass of wine, and I shouldn't forget a glass of water as well.
Yeah, there we go. Very important. You got to stay hydrated in all sorts of ways. But the first thing we would like to ask you to do is to like and subscribe, hit the bell, share this as well. But definitely subscribe. Please do us that big favor. It is absolutely brilliant for you to do so. And thank you very much if you have done so already. But in case you haven't done it, do it now. Ka-ching, baby. It is as simple as that. Very exciting show tonight, as it always is. And I'm really looking forward to this because we have got a phenomenal guest. Now, as you know, and as Rhoda said, interactive indeed. So we look forward to your questions or comments. But I tell you what, this is like the perfect guest, perfect topic of conversation just for this time. I don't know, I just feel...
Do you also feel excited?
Yeah, I actually
exactly
do.
The same. So I myself am quite excited because I mean we chatted to our guests prior to the show starting now, and he pushed us onto another level. I mean, talking about a Monday coming from work basically and having to listen to someone like this. I mean, guys, you're going to be on another level, definitely.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely, I'm very excited about this because as you know, what we do is we talk to people who are movers and shakers, people who positively influence our communities and society at large, and definitely people who are going out there to changing lives. And that is exactly the case with our guest this evening, of course. And our guest will be featured in the Word magazine as well. So also a big shout out to everybody that with Word magazine, always fantastic, which is great. And our guest this evening is the one, the only Mr. Kevin Chaplin. Now we're talking a businessman here, a public speaker, an author, but also founder of the South African Ubuntu Foundation and managing director of the AMI Foundation. And this is our very special guest this evening on Mahala Monday, somebody who is right in the center and the forefront when it comes to changing lives and influencing it in a positive way. Kevin Chaplin, good sir. Hello, how are you?
Hey, I'm so inspired by Dougal and Rhoda. I'm just happy to be here. You've got me going. Thank you.
I'm so happy.
That is very, I'm glad we can inspire because we're looking at you and we think, that's the level there. That's the level. But really wonderful to have you with us. And thank you very much for making time and being with us. So many questions, so many things that we got to talk to you about. But first, we just want to drag it back because you come from a financial background. That is where... That is where you coming from, and you, in terms of your career, it is really pivoted. You're really doing something else now. What inspired you to transform your career path?
Well, you know, Dougal, I loved banking. It was my life. I was passionate about it, and I think when I think back over those 26 years, everything I ever did from when I started in the bank, it was at the most junior level, and I ended up as sales and service director. I was HR, finance and admin director before that. And even when I was a teller or just even when I was punching the machines as a junior, everything was about making a difference at that time, in the early years, to the customers' lives. You know, when a customer walked in, I wanted to greet them nicely, make them feel welcome. As I got more senior, it was then about my staff and the customers. So I just loved being a banker to make a difference in my staff and my customers. But I got to the point in 2005 where I had moved to Cape Town in the year 2000. I'd spent 10 years in Johannesburg, before that KwaZulu-Natal. And everyone said, you'll never get Cape Town right. It's da-da-da. I said, right, we'll show you. And in 4 years, we built the most remarkable team at the bank in all my branches, and we turned it around.
Wow.
And then I sat back in 2005 and I said, okay, God has blessed me beyond my wildest dreams. Maybe it's time to go out and make a bigger difference. And so I started a journey of, you know, just praying and saying, what do I want to go do? And I was offered two amazing roles. One of them was to go and head up Cape Nature, and they said they wanted me. And at the last minute, they phoned me and said, "Oh, so sorry, we've got to withdraw the offer. You're a white male. We'll be lambasted in the media." I was so angry, and I thought, no, that's not fair. Anyway, then I thought, okay, I understand the problem they've got. And the next thing, so the next week, the CEO of one of the private banks resigned. I thought, that's why I didn't get that other job. I'm going to go and run this private bank. And I phoned them up and I said, "This is who I am." And they said, "Oh, so sorry, sir." They said, "You're a white male. The board can't consider any white males." I said, "Who says I'm white? I'm a colored." and then I said, "Okay, don't worry. I am white, but that's racism in reverse." And anyway, then I sat back and I thought, all the senior positions in banking were white males, and it is a good decision of them. Otherwise, we're never going to have change. And that's when I said, now I'm going to start something myself. So I spent the next year planning my exit and what am I going to do. And it really took different steps. And I came to the realization that I must start something that's going to bring people of different color, culture, religion, and language together. As a white Christian male, I was always well accepted by Black Africans, coloreds, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu. I had so many Hindu clients, Muslim, Jewish. So I thought maybe that's where God can use me, because I was going as the, sales and service director. I was going to events and it was all white and colored, no Black Africans. And I thought, okay, maybe there's an opportunity here. And so that's what started me on the road to take a different career path and start something else, which we'll talk about later. But I just realized God could use me in a bigger way. And so my plan was to exit and go and do different things, which we'll talk about.
Well, and once you got into doing these things, I mean, you were just running with it because, the goalposts just kept on shifting and the goals just kept being met, and which is extraordinary. But I just want to backtrack quickly to what you have said, even because it speaks also to today, because it's a narrative that a lot of people talk about when you apply for jobs or opportunities present themselves, that and we might not fit the demographic or the employment equity, I think is the right term. How much of for you personally, as Kevin Chaplin at the time, to pick yourself up and still face the new day, still not to feel bad? I mean, how much of a strength did you have to show and a resilience for the next day? And I know I'm asking you that something that's quite personal as well, but how do you pick yourself up?
I think one has to believe in oneself, and that's very important, because daily I come across people who say, "It's not fair, I'm not going to be considered because I'm not the right demographic." And I say, if you believe in yourself, yes, you're going to have some doors shut for you, but then you just go to the next one and you'll find something that you will succeed or start your own thing. If you believe in yourself, you just get up and go for it. And I think that is what, and I have a strong faith. So, I mean, I remember when I told my daughters that I'm going to leave the bank, my youngest daughter, she was 9 at the time, and she cried. She said, "But Daddy, how are we going to live? If you're going to leave the bank, do we have to move school or change, leave our house?" I said, "No, God has blessed me for 26 years. Why would he stop now?" So I think it's just believing in yourself and getting up. When you get knocked down, you just got to get up again and keep going.
Oh, wow.
And what is the amazing thing hearing you say that is that is true hero story. Do you know what I mean? That is a story that a person can tell, and it inspires, which is just beautiful.
So one thing that Dugald had mentioned, it was the fact that you actually revived the Amy Beale Foundation, and you started the Amy Foundation. So where did, despite them obviously going through some difficulty, what was the reason that you actually took this over?
So allow me to just backtrack before that. So once I decided I want to do something myself, I sort of started planning, and when I came up, there was a lot of things that happened which I realized I need to be a catalyst for change. I need to really be that catalyst, can break down the barriers between people of different color, culture, religion, and language, because 2005, we still were not, and even today, the whole world needs this. So I went to see Archbishop Tutu, who had become one of my role models and mentors. I said, "Arch, you're a real fraud. You're telling the world we're a rainbow nation, but we're far from it." I said, Jews are living in Sea Point, Afrikaans in Belleville, Coloreds in Athlone, Black Africans in Gugulethu. We're not mixing. So he says, what do you mean I'm a fraud? I said, but we're not a rainbow nation yet. Yeah. So I said, I'm going to start the Ubuntu Foundation, and I need you to be the patron so they take me seriously. And that's where I came up with the Ubuntu Foundation. And I spent the next 10 months, whilst I was still in the bank, planning the South African Ubuntu Foundation, putting the different, and it wasn't easy because, you know, as a banker before, when we were doing a strategy session, I had all my team taking notes, and now it was just me on my own. And it evolved into, and I'll tell you later, I'm sure you'll know more about the Ubuntu Foundation. So by August 2006, I had a substantial business plan. I was ready to go, and I gave my boss, I flew up to Johannesburg and I told him what I want to do. And we agreed on a 3 months notice so that we could, you know, redo the Western Cape. And then I started the Ubuntu Foundation. And 3 months after that, the Amy Beale Foundation went bankrupt. Oh, wow. What had happened was Amy died in 1998. Sorry, 1993.
Yes.
Was when she was killed.
Yeah.
4 boys went to jail for her death. And in 1997, Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu formed the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the TRC. And they invited the parents to come and meet the 4 boys who were responsible for her death. Wow. And we mustn't forget, Dugald and Rhoda and listeners, that in 1993, it was still apartheid. We only had the first free and fair elections April 94. There was a lot of tension in South Africa still. Chris Hani had been murdered in 1993. There was the St. James Massacre. There was a lot of tension.
Yeah.
So there was a peaceful political rally. And the police came and broke up the rally, and a mob formed. Wow. And Amy had been here on a 1-year scholarship. And that day when she drove in, 2 of her black African friends from UWC had phoned her and said, please drop us. Our taxi left her. So, of course, she didn't see color. So she drives into Googs. The mob sees her and goes crazy. Now, wherever you are, whether you're in Oxford Street in London or wherever, if there's a mob, there's no rationale. So she was killed in August 1993. Wow. Parents meet the 4 boys in 1997. They'd been sentenced to 20 years in jail. And when they met them, they said, but these were young 18-year-old boys. They're not murderers. We forgive them. Oh, wow. And the boys asked for forgiveness. And the parents then went a step further and said, we now would like the government to give them amnesty and we want them released. Wow. So the 4 boys were released. And in 1998, after 5 years in jail, 2 of the 4 approached the parents and said, we're so humbled that you could forgive us. We now want to dedicate our life to the youth. And so in Tobacco and Easy, and the parents started the Amy Beale Foundation. Fast forward to the early 2000s, Amy's father died unexpectedly with no medical insurance and left Amy's mother penniless. So luckily she's got 2 other daughters and a son, and she could live with them. But in 2005, she came out to South Africa. 2006, I'd started the Ubuntu Foundation, and the Consul of America phoned me in Cape Town. He said, I'd like you to meet someone. And the rest is history. I said to Amy's mother, please don't close it. She was here to close it down. She said, Kevin, I have to. There's no money. If you feel like that, take it over. And she wanted me to take Amy Beale Foundation under the Ubuntu Foundation.
Okay.
And I said, no, it wouldn't be right, because the Ubuntu Foundation is for leadership, business people to break down the barriers. Amy Beale Foundation is for the youth. 2 different focuses. And you've always got to, in business, keep your mission and vision and focus correct. Yeah. So I said, I'll take it over, but I'll keep both separate. And everything we do under the Ubuntu Foundation will support Amy Beale Foundation. So that's what I've been started in 2006 when I took over the Amy Beale Foundation. And then after a few years, I realized that, you know, I'd go to people for support. They'd say, well, go and ask the Beales or go and ask America. And I'd say, the Amy Beale Foundation is a South African organization. Yeah. We are working in the townships. So that's when we went on a path of changing the name to Amy Foundation, Changing Lives. And I can't tell you how exciting it is when we see the results of the Amy Foundation. The impact we're making gives you such hope for this country. I always say to people who say, oh, we've given up hope, the government this, the government that, or I want to immigrate. I say, please don't. Come and see what's going on in the Amy Foundation and many other good organizations. There's a lot of good organizations in the townships. But the kids that come through our programs, they are so dedicated, committed, and passionate about, you know, making a difference and getting employment and starting new businesses and that.
Kevin, we got a couple of comments and we just want to touch base on it. But also, while we just have a look at one of the comments, so just a question for you to ponder in the meantime. So, and just for our viewers as well, that the Amy Foundation focuses primarily on youth development.
Yes. So we have 7 centers. Okay. And it's really a story of don't let anybody tell you you can't do it, because in the beginning people said, how are you going to take a bankrupt organization? There were 100 kids, 10 staff. Today we have almost 100 staff because we don't want to have more than 20 youth with one teacher. So obviously the major portion of our staff is coordinators, facilitators. So we have 7 centers. 6 of them are after school programs. Now you mustn't forget, in this country still, there over 50% of kids who start grade 1 drop out of school before grade 12.
What?
Drugs, crime, violence, gangs, teen pregnancy. Over 100,000 teenage girls fall pregnant in this country. It's unacceptable. So what we do with the after-school programs from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock is we take youngsters into these 6 centers. They can learn music, drama, dance, sport. Literacy is a big one, mathematics, and greening and environmental. So our purpose there is so that they don't get onto all the negative stuff in the townships and drop out of school, and get them to finish grade 12. By 2012, 2014, it was worrying me that we were doing this great stuff, dropping out of school, not getting pregnant, but then they're unemployed. We've got such a high unemployment rate in the 18 to 35. They always talk about 30, 40, 35% overall unemployment. But in the 18 to 35s, they talk about over 60% since COVID, unemployed. Can you imagine? Yeah. So it was worrying me that I wanted to start a youth skills program for the 18 and above, and I didn't know how, because it was taking all my time to run the 6 centers. But God is just awesome. I mean, through prayer and hard work, we managed to find a center in Rondebosch. Well, it was an old, dilapidated building. And we bought it. People said, Kevin, you've lost your marbles. I mean, the land was going to cost us 2.6 million, let alone build. But the good news is we got the land. We built a huge center, 6 million, paid it off within a year. Wow. And now we have our 7th center is a youth skills center for 18 to 35. So there they come. They can choose hospitality, beauty and wellness, sewing and design, and technical and handyman skills. Wow. And then the 4th discipline is entrepreneurship. So we take, every 3 months, we take a new intake of 150 students, and we put them through an intensive, whether they choose hospitality or beauty and wellness or technical or sewing. At the end of the 3 months, we do their CVs, we set up interviews. We take them for the interview, and then we place them. Those with the ability for entrepreneurship, we start new businesses. And I'm very proud to tell you that we've placed just on 2,000 students in employment since in the last 6 years. And we've started 231 new businesses. Wow. Small businesses, catering, beauty, spas. Wow. But whether it's hotels, retail stores, they tell us that the Amy Foundation students are standing out head and shoulders above the other employees. Because my team are so committed to teaching these youngsters. And because let's say you're in hospitality, you also learn business skills, business etiquette, conversational English, attitude, you know, all of that sort of thing. And so that once they go out and we place them in employment, they just soar. So that's what we're doing at the Amy Foundation.
Yeah, well, that is absolutely fantastic. Thank you for thank you for saying that. I think it is just brilliant. We got that comment there quickly. We just want to touch base with that one. Hubert says it's got a comment here. Hello, Hubert. Hubert says, believe in yourself, and the rest will fall into place. Well done, Kevin. So definitely somebody singing your praises there, Kevin.
Thank you, Hubert.
He goes on to say, born out of a tragedy, now the foundation has grown into a beacon of hope for young South Africans, and your work today is testament to that belief that every person deserves the chance, at least, to thrive, which is a great sentiment, Hubert. It is a wonderful
Oh,
sentiment.
Hubert, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better.
So that is brilliant. So in terms of those numbers, just in terms of placing jobs, and obviously you're looking at a permanent absorption and all of that happening. So the Amy Foundation certainly has got its hands full. And if anybody want to find out more, you're more than welcome to visit the website as well, which is www.amyfoundation.co.za. But moving on, because you touched on the SA Ubuntu Foundation. Now, this one, not youth development, this is now leaders.
Yes. Well, this is anybody who's in business or their own business or even entrepreneurs or even unemployed. As long as you're over 18, we bring people together to get them to meet one another, embrace each other, whatever religion, color, culture, language you are, let's come together and break down those barriers, because 100 years of apartheid, it doesn't happen automatically that everybody just suddenly starts engaging and being comfortable. So we have monthly Ubuntu business breakfasts where we have 100 to 120 business people. Wow. And we have a good speaker every month. And we just create a culture and an atmosphere at that breakfast, which gets people to open up and have dialogue with one another. We expose, like, for instance, I pass the microphone around and everybody there just has like 10 seconds to say their name and the business they represent, and then a list they would have received of what their business is. And that's one part of what we do. Then we do a quarterly dinner for CEOs, chairpersons, and directors of companies to say, what are the challenges in this country? How can you be part of the solution?
Excuse me.
And we're busy putting an Ubuntu manuscript and publication together of all those outcomes, remarkable input from some of these CEOs. Then we do a lot of workshops for conferences, or I'm always speak at conferences about what does Ubuntu really mean? How can you apply it in your business? We do workshops for schools. We recently did Bishops and Redham. I'd love to do more schools. We do for corporates, going to talk to their staff about what does Ubuntu mean. I mean, one of the principles of Ubuntu is forgiveness.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I go on to share the story of Amy Foundation and the powerful story of Amy Beale. So Ubuntu Foundation is really just doing activities and interventions to break down those barriers, get people to engage.
Excuse me.
I love it when I have somebody says, like Nokotula recently said, thanks to Ubuntu Foundation, I came to a breakfast 5 years ago. I met Eben, a white Afrikaner. Now we're in business together. Then I'm happy. Then we have Nolly, who sat next to somebody at a breakfast 10 years ago and started working with a hotel chain. And now she's thriving, you know. And those are the type of things that we just want to cultivate, to get people to just work together. So that's the Ubuntu Foundation. We have an Ubuntu pledge, which I'd love people to go onto the Ubuntu website. We're trying to get at least 1,000 signatories of all around the world of people who sign up, nothing to do with money. It just says, I pledge to live my life by the principles and values of Ubuntu. And then we list 13 values, things like I respect people of other religion, color, culture, language. I will leave the planet in a better place. Or there's 13 of those. And all they have to do is click on that, the pledge. When they go onto the website, it comes up and they click on it and they sign the pledge, so that we can have everybody building a better world. That's what this world needs, is to all come together and each of us make a little significant contribution, no matter how small that is. We also launched Ubuntu membership, where we've had amazing speakers, Dougal and Rhoda, like we had Tuli Madonsela, Costa Semenya, Imtiaz Suleiman, Philip Kravitz, Raymond Ackerman. We've got all this video footage that we thought people need to see. So now people can join and become an Ubuntu member for 200 Rand a month. They get access to all those past speakers, plus the community of Ubuntu, and they get free breakfast, and they go into a monthly draw for nice prizes. So that's and then everything we do, obviously, at each event we support Amy Foundation and we raise money for them.
Oh, fantastic! Because if you I mean, just going back to what you said earlier, I mean, the Ubuntu Foundation started, and then literally 90 days or so later, I think you said it was where you now sort of got involved with the Amy Foundation. And given at the time, you know, the general climate within the country and maybe the feeling, the sense and everything, the principles of Ubuntu, as we know, was obviously the springboard and the motivation for you to do this, because as you said as well, even when you were, certain doors were closed because of certain restrictions that's placed on certain things, and all of a sudden here you go and you use the Ubuntu principles in terms of changing lives in such a positive way. So now the ripple effects are absolutely huge, because when we saw, there was a slide on a moment ago of, and it's really the who's who, because everybody is super recognizable as outstanding citizens in South Africa that has made a huge, huge difference. So these Ubuntu principles, at the time, you were living them already personally, because this was the fuel for this foundation, wasn't it?
Absolutely. And it's just about trying to share that with others so that everybody can, because everybody had heard of this word Ubuntu and what is it? Is it just what does that mean? And so it was for me important that I could share with others what it's like to live the Ubuntu way, because I just get very excited when I meet. I mean, if you go overseas and you come back here, there's a warmth about people in South Africa. Often I hear people say when they come back to South Africa, there's just such a warmth about people, and it's true. And I think that's what led me to, when I first started interacting with Black African people, because that's what apartheid did. It kept us all apart. And that was one of the tragedies. We didn't interact and engage with one another. Then with colored and Indian and, different religions. And it's just such a benefit when you open yourself up to others and you engage, because you learn and you grow when you don't just stick to one thing,
Exactly.
Wow. And I must just mention to you as well, as part of the Ubuntu Foundation, we try and expose the alumni of AMI Foundation to our business database, which has been wonderful for the alumni of Amy Beale Foundation to get exposed to the business leaders and help grow their business, which is also, so it's a nice fit,
Yeah, no, that's great. Definitely. And if anybody want to find anything, they just go to, it is www.saubuntu.org.za. Did I get it right?
Absolutely. saubuntu.org.za.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go do that pledge. I'm definitely going to do that.
Please, Dougal and Rhoda.
I'm going to do the pledge. And I advise everybody out there who's watching right now, go and do the pledge, guys. Go for it.
Yeah. I'll be so happy. Thank you.
No.
So
maybe we must remind ourselves, what is Ubuntu?
Exactly.
Dougal and Rhoda. Umtu and Gumtu and Gabantu. Umtu and Gumtu and Gabantu, which simply means I am because we are. When you translate that Zulu or Xhosa word, Umtun Gumtun Gabantu, into English, it's I am because we are. We are people through other people. Yeah. The definition I love is I'm human because I belong to the human community, and I trust and I value and I respect people accordingly. It's such a powerful, whatever religion you are, it's such a powerful philosophy, an African word for a way of living.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is. Definitely, we're definitely going to sign. We're definitely going to do that pledge. We're definitely going to do it. And we got the details on the bottom of the screen. And this is why, Kevin, let's not mince our words here, because this is exactly why we said it's a fascinating conversation. Because we all know this is a conversation that could easily take 3 hours, and then we're still on the hello, how are you doing? But but I've got to move it along because. You really a chameleon, and let me preface this by why I'm saying this, because here you are, the banker that has moved from the north, has come here and is working everywhere and making positive contributions with at least within your professional space, then has this urge that I want to make the world a better place. You do all of these things, and then you go take on something else. You start to pen a book. You put thoughts down on paper, you become an author. My goodness. Your book is called Can Do. What is this all about?
Thank you for that, Dougal. Can Do, making the impossible possible.
Ayo.
So I often when I talk somewhere, even if only one person came up to me and say, thank you, I learned so much from your talk today, then I was happy. And then a couple of people would say, is there a book I can read about what you've been telling us? And I thought, okay, maybe I should write a book one day, but I didn't have the time or the ability or the capacity. And a lady came up to me at one of my Ubuntu breakfasts, and she said, you need to write a book, and I'm a ghostwriter, and I want to help you write that book. Oh, wow. So I said, let's do it. So an amazing lady, Toby Schenker, helped me as my ghostwriter, and she would sit with me and I'd talk, and she'd put it into a format and she'd send it to me, and I'd say, no, that's not how I talk. That's not really correct. And we worked very well together. And I just wanted to write the book so that I could share all my experiences and learnings with everybody in the world. Because if you die one day having kept it all to yourself, what's the use?
Yeah.
So that's why I was quite excited to write the book. And it's really, it's a leadership, business, and motivational book. It's packed with all the stories that I've gone through in my life. Right from chapter 1, where I share about a very cruel father that really hated me and made no qualms about it. But luckily, my mother was a very wise woman. She knew that he was emotionally, he had no emotional intelligence. And so she made sure I spent a lot of time with my grandfathers, my uncles, and I had strong male role models. So there I talk about that story, but all you need to do is have good role models. And I encourage everybody to find role models and to be a role model. And then I go on throughout my banking career where everybody said, you can't do this, you can't do that. I had so many stories to share where people said it's impossible, but we made it happen. So I share all of that. Then I share the journey of going to the Ubuntu Foundation and what does it mean. There's a chapter on Ubuntu, how to apply it in your life, in your business. Then many stories about, and then I go on to Amy Foundation, and I talk a lot about some of the motivational things that I will share with audiences, like the word watch. Watch the words that come out of your mouth. They can build a person or break them down. A, what's your attitude? What's your thoughts? And I go into detail about how you can direct your thoughts. C, what's the company you keep? I would never have left the bank if I didn't surround myself, or my wife hadn't said, I'll support you. You know, you've got to surround yourself with people who will build you up, not break you down. H, what's your heart? Have a giving heart, not about money. Give of your time, mentor others. And then there's all sorts of there's loads of these sort of stories that I share to help people get up when they knock down, make a success and be significant. And that's why it's about 320 pages. And I just want everybody in the world to read it.
Fantastic.
I want everyone to read it.
And I got to ask you this, and every author always says, no, it's an easy read. Is it an easy read?
It is, because I made sure that the way we've written it, there's no fancy English words that you wonder, what the hell does that word mean? Or, you know, I made it sure it was easy English and easy reading. And a lot of people have said to me, some people have read it in a weekend, others take a year. Everybody reads at different paces, obviously. But yeah.
Yeah, no, fantastic.
And where do we get the book?
Yeah,
definitely.
Where please, they can order it on the Ubuntu website, on the Amy website, from Come Books. It's no longer an exclusive books and bargain books, because the percentage they take is just absolutely ridiculous. There was no money left for Amy Foundation, and the purpose was also to give some of the proceeds to Amy Foundation. So I said, okay, that's it. Rather just order on the link. We deliver, they collect, and Come Books give a very low, they take such a small portion. So I said, Come Books, keep it.
Yeah. No, fantastic. Let me put this out there to the viewers, because this is definitely, you don't want it to lay it too much, but this will make a great Christmas present as well. So
please, Dougal, that's what I need.
Yeah, so just go and get it and make a great present. And imagine having that sort of tips and tricks and nicks and everything kick off the new year, and you will have plenty of time over the holiday, over the festive time to read it.
Oh, you'll make my day. I'll appreciate that. And so just they can go onto the websites and order it. They can even contact me directly or my team, and we'll get the orders going.
No,
Sure Travel have just ordered 120 books for all their agents not worldwide, nationwide. So let's get more corporates buying for their staff, people buying for their wives and husbands and partners and children. Let's get people reading. Can do. Make them possible.
Can do.
That would be brilliant. That would be brilliant. We definitely gotta check it out. So you gotta do that. We got more questions, comments, Kevin, that we're gonna pose to you quickly before we wrap with you. Mark says, hello, Mark. Mark Saul says, it's beautiful to see how Kevin made the best of his circumstances and how he chose to be the exact opposite of the harsh reality we had all lived. We need more people with this of thinking and being. Oh, so we need more people who's like you in terms of thinking like you and being like you, and just sort of doing that positivity. But on that, I want to ask you that as well, because you mentioned it earlier. You know, you got to watch yourself, change your attitude. And I want to pick your brain a little bit about that. Surrounding yourself with good and positive and great influences and all these wonderful things. And I suppose it's easy to do. When you sit back now and you have made a significant impact across the board, like, you know, because you and I both know that the good work that you've initiated and started off will long continue because of this meaningful impact that it receives. How positive are you when you sit back and look at South Africa at large, given our current political climate, given the pulse of the people, given the achievements of our sports stars and artists on the international stage? How positive do you feel with the outlook of South Africa, and especially the promise of the youth?
Thanks, Dugald. I'm very positive, actually. I hit a dip in the Zuma years. I was very despondent in the Zuma years, the billions that he stole, and I thought, oh my word, Ubuntu's gone, and I had to reassess myself. But then, if I look back now, South Africans are resilient. Look where we've come from. 1994, apartheid, where we've come from. We're a resilient nation. We really are. I don't think there's any other nation in the world that can say what we've been through and is building. And yes, we've got huge challenges. I'm not denying that. But I believe as South Africans, we will overcome it. And that's why I try and encourage people not to immigrate, for those to come back and be part of the solution. We've got such a wonderful nation of people. Apart from the sports stars and the musicians and the business leaders, right down to in the townships, we've got people there who are really they want to make a difference. They're unemployed and it's hard for them. But you see them, they're still so happy. And yes, crime is out of control, and we've got to address that. But where you've got poverty and unemployment, we need to understand it. So we need to, this has got to be a building block. And I believe we can really shine as South Africa one day and show the world what's possible, that Ubuntu is alive. Because a lot of people say, there's no Ubuntu. There is, and we just got to make it happen. So I'm very positive that there's a great future for South Africa. We just got to all not give up. We've just got to persevere and bring people along with us, you know, and even just ask little questions like, the lady who comes to clean our house, does she have a toilet in her house? Does she have to walk to the, you know, it doesn't cost much to put a shower and a toilet in somebody's shack, or build them a little, what does it cost to help build something? So, I mean, I chair Yvonne Chaka Chaka's Princess of Africa Foundation. She's doing great work through Africa. We've got Relate, Lauren Gillis, who started Relate Water now, getting boreholes and running water to villages. Wow. So if we all do our little bit, we're going to look back in 20, 30 years' time and say, look where we've come from. But, you know, it's only been 30 years since we've really had a new country. Yeah. And so we are a young democracy. Let's just, I think I also want to say that I saw statistics where the voter turnout was not very good in the last elections. We've also got to get the youth to want to vote. We need to get more voters out there in the next coming elections, so that we can all be part of saying that we've got a true democracy. We've got the right people working for us. You know, I always say I'll pay more taxes if the teachers, the policemen, and the nurses are better paid. But let's have politicians that are not greedy and corrupt, and let's get better politicians into power. And that's about voter turnout and getting the youth to vote. So, yeah, let's make South Africa great again. No. Don't want to say who said that, because there's some crazy leaders in the world. There are some terrible leaders in the world.
But you're absolutely right. It is super important. Things like Ubuntu and the positivity, and to use everything and all the hard work that you've been doing, using this as a springboard. The one important key ingredient is active citizenry. We need citizens to be active. You need an active citizen. As soon as we have that, then, you know, there's a huge move forward. But Kevin, also coming up with the Word magazine, of course, because you're going to be featured in the Word magazine now.
Yes. Thanks to Lisa and the Word magazine, I'm very grateful for that.
Excellent.
And
Excellent.
when did you know when that is coming out?
I think within the next week.
Yeah.
September.
So that
Within
is
the
all
next
coming up very, very, very soon. So, and did you enjoy doing the interview? What was that like?
Excellent. I'm very impressed with the Word Mag and Lisa and her team.
Yeah.
They really do a great job. So I'm looking forward to the readers seeing that.
Yeah.
Let's get everybody out there, Word Mag.
Word Mag, definitely.
Fantastic. Go
looking
check it
forward to
out.
that.
Yeah. So that you'll find on wordmag.co.za. You got to go check it out there on the website. Of course, coming up with the latest publication will be Kevin Chaplin, our guest, who will be there as well. I tell you what, it is so fascinating to talk to you, and we asked you kindly. We'll do 40 minutes because we know you a busy man. But I mean, I could still go on. So I want to sneak in a last question here. Any final thoughts, Kevin? Any final thoughts? Any? And I've got two.
Oh, my
All right.
word,
So
that's
before the
Google
final
for you.
question,
I've got time.
okay, good. I want to ask you this as well, and it kind of links to what we said earlier. You know, the positivity that there is, and everybody is to get everybody giddy up. But there are those doomsayers, like you said, people who say that they want to immigrate. And we all have, you know, and you say, no, stay here. Just open your eyes. It is happening here. But, you know, sometimes it's a difficult explanation to our friends and family who are like that because circumstances are there. What advice is there that we can not maybe just try them to stay or, you know, to commit, but just to open our eyes and to appreciate what is around us? How do we do this? How do you inspire yourself in the morning doing the work that you do to keep going?
I can't, I've traveled a lot. I've really been blessed. I've traveled to so many different countries, and I can't find any other country as good as South Africa. Every country has its challenges. You can go to another country and you'll have different challenges. And I know there's people who've gone there and then can't afford to come back. So rather stay here and be part of the solution. There's just, I mean, we've got everything in this country from, you know, the flora, the fauna, love visiting the game reserves and the beach, but the people here, there's just such a warmth. Yes, crime has to be brought under control, poverty and unemployment, but let's focus on the positives. And if you only focus on the negatives, you get sucked into the negativity. So let's get up every day and focus on the positives that are there. And then it just gets better and better. And as you engage with others and lift people up, good things come.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
Oh, wow.
You asked me for...
Kevin, yeah, you were saying
You asked me for one last thought.
Yes.
I think what just a final thing I'd like to say to every listener out there is believe in yourself. Don't let anybody ever say to you, you can't do this, you can't do that, because you'll see that throughout the book, I was told you can't do this, you can't do that, it's impossible. Nothing is impossible. If you believe in yourself and you surround yourself with the right people, and perseverance is important. I've had to be really, there's a word called tenacity. I've had to have thick shoulders sometimes, but just when you get knocked down, pick yourself up, believe in yourself and go forward. And it works. Yes, it sometimes at different paces and different levels, but just never give up. Just keep going. That's my message to the listeners.
I'm laughing because my 9-year-old, the word that me and myself and him, we share a lot with each other is tenacity. And I'm laughing.
Okay.
I'm laughing now because when you said that, be tenacious. It's it's a word that me and him, we talk a lot about that. But anyway, Kevin Chaplin, what can we say other than thank you so much for your time?
Wow.
One more question. Promise me in the very distant future, not too distant future, we're going to talk again.
We're going
please.
to talk again.
Please.
I'd love that. I'd love that because all I want to do is engage with others. So please have me again. And I just want to thank the two of you. This is I love talking with the both of you. And thank you for what you're doing to get listeners to be able to hear different speakers and topics. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We wish you all the best and thank you so much for your time and good luck with all the work. And we just wish you everything of the best. And thank you for the exemplary and positive example that you are. And especially just the way your work speaks for itself. That is an inspiration. So long may it continue. And thank you very much, sir. Thank
you, Dugald and Rhoda. And I would look forward, and I I look forward to you visiting our youth skills center. There's an invite.
There's
Yeah,
the
sure.
invite.
I think we should do that.
I think we should
yeah,
go there. I think Mahala
Just
should
let me
go
know
live.
when, and
I think we should do that. That will be nice. That will be nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Look after yourself. Thank you very much for joining us. Kevin
thank you, Dougal and
Chaplin.
Rhoda.
Kevin Chaplin, everybody. Yes,
Wow,
I tell you what, I want to put it out there. Whoever we interview next, yo, you don't want to follow Kevin, man. I certainly don't want to. But I mean, you know, Kevin is an outstanding public speaker. Obviously, as you know now, founder of the South African Ubuntu organization. He also heads up the Amy Foundation, involved with so much, and
author.
Author, and it's all about making a positive change.
Exactly.
And Rhoda, if you look back at the whole conversation, here's a man who was professionally, he was on the top of his game. We're talking now somebody who was
26 years in the
yeah,
banking.
you know, you're on top of the game. You're on top of your game. People want you. There are circumstances, and we hear this, and it is refreshing, and it is inspiring to hear Kevin actually say this himself. People say to him, "You're not the right skin color, sir. Yes, you were invited, but." And he goes, "Yeah, I understand."
Yeah.
And what does he do? He does not say, "Oh, this is unacceptable." He goes, "But wait a minute. I can be part of it moving this forward. Let's be part of the solution."
He didn't pack his bag and take the plane.
He didn't.
Stayed.
He embraced it and made sure that other people have vehicles and opportunities in order for this. This is super important. Now, and when you look at it, and he said it several times, he says, "I'm so blessed, I'm so..." When you look at the richness of life that he has, I mean, it just oozes out of him. I think that's what everybody wants.
Definitely.
Truly great inspiration. So, you got to go check it out, wordbag.co.za. Of course, our guest tonight featured on the Word Bag, so definitely go check it out, wordbag.co.za. Also, don't forget to go visit the SA Ubuntu website, which is www.saubuntu.org.za. Go check it out there, and definitely take the pledge.
Go take the pledge, guys. I'm going to be doing it now once I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm
going to do that. Most definitely.
Go and do it. It doesn't cost you anything. Just go do the pledge.
Just go and do it. Go and do that. And absolutely wonderful. But definitely to find out more about Kevin and to hear his, which is a really brilliant interview, because as you know, of course, everything that Word Magazine does is amazing. Go check it out, which is absolutely awesome. As easy as that, Rhoda. I am inspired. I'm ready for the week.
Just another one I want to bring up, Dougal, is the Can Do book. Everybody, there's the details at the bottom. You can contact Kevin directly, even if you want to, but the email is there, the website is there. Go get this book.
It's a good Christmas
like
gift.
we said, it's a Christmas gift. You know what? And I think we need to go back into time. We need to start reading again, Dougal. You know, I think it's one of the best things ever. A book is the best thing you could ever sit and read and educate yourself. And it's just about his life. And I mean, just listening to him, oh my word, I want to get this book. I'm actually going to get it. I might give you a Christmas present. Dougal.
Here we
I
go.
just know what
Here
the
we go,
Christmas
baby.
present is.
That's what I'm talking about.
We definitely need to get it.
That's
so
what I'm
you know
talking
what?
about.
You need to be inspired. And what do we tell our viewers? You're going to be inspired.
Yeah,
So
that's exactly it.
get the book.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody. In case you haven't done so, please like and subscribe. Do us the big honor and the big favor of doing that. We will be very, very grateful for you to do that. And please share this as well. But most of all, thank you very much for being part of the show this evening and watching this. And definitely share it. And please, please, please like. Once again, big thank you to our very special guest, Mr. Kevin Chaplin, who was on here. Like Rhoda said, go get the book. It's called Can Do. And what can I say? You can do it. So here it is.
That's it.
Is that it?
That's it, Dougal.
Until next time, look after yourselves and everybody around you. Bye-bye.
Bye.